So, hi everyone and welcome. Thank you for joining us today for the 2026 SHEIN Seller Playbook webinar. Whether you're a brand exploring new sales channels or a seller elevating where to grow next, or already selling on SHEIN Marketplace and looking to scale more strategically in 2026, this session is designed for you. Today, we'll walk through what it truly takes to launch, operate, and grow successfully on SHEIN, one of the fastest growing marketplaces here in the US. This session is focused on real insights, real execution, and real opportunities, straight from the teams who work with sellers every day. My name is Jo, and I'll be your moderator today. And I'm excited to be joined by two experts who play a critical role in seller success on SHEIN Marketplace. First, we have Eric, Head of Seller Onboarding and Platform Operations at SHEIN Marketplace. Eric oversees how sellers launch, operate, and scale to ensure they have the tools, infrastructure, and support they need to succeed. We're also joined by Sylas, a business development specialist who works directly with brands elevating SHEIN Marketplace and helps sellers identify growth opportunities once they are live. So I'll turn it to each of you for a quick introduction. Eric?
Thank you, Jojo, for having me. And hello, everyone. It's great to be here meeting you all. I'm Eric from the SHEIN Marketplace team, and I currently lead both the Seller Onboarding team and also the platform operational team. My core focuses here is on supporting sellers during their initial onboarding stage, helping them to get set up efficiently and also successfully onto the platform, and then incubating those new sellers by getting them through the cold start phases. Optimizing their listings, activating their stores, and also accelerating their early performance. In parallel, I also oversee platform operations just to ensure that the overall selling experience is smooth, stable, and also scalable so that our sellers can focus on the actual growth and selling while we take care of the operational foundations. Thank you, Jojo.
Thanks for being here today, Eric. And Sylas, I'll turn it over to you.
Thanks, Jojo. Hey, everyone. Nice to be here. I'm senior on the business development team. My role is focused on new business for the SHEIN Marketplace. So I spend most of my time spearheading the development of branded business on the platform. And I work with everyone from the small but mighty resellers to large retailers and marketplace professionals, all the way up to like enterprise level corporations. All in the branded sector. So categories like footwear, fragrances, electronics, apparel, and more, as well as private label. I oversee much of the outreach and onboarding strategy for our branded seller profiles, and I'm fortunate enough to work very closely with Eric and the seller marketing team and the onboarding team in maximizing a seller's first 90 days on the platform.
Awesome. Well, thank you both for being here today. And Eric, I know you're coming on 2 years now at SHEIN, or a little
Almost
bit
three
more?
years.
Almost
Almost
3
3 years.
years. That's awesome. Eric, can you share, how SHEIN Marketplace has evolved over the past year for sellers?
Yeah, of course. Even though our US marketplace is fairly young, we have evolved a lot, much over the past 3 years. And I'm actually glad you asked this question because I have been here since day one, and I love to share all the milestones that everyone knows SHEIN for our strong business, especially first party business in the fashion and also beauty space. But our third party marketplace has been growing exponentially, and our seller base is larger and more diverse than ever. As we scaled, we continuously expand into new categories ranging from consumer electronics like gaming PCs, cell phones, to home appliance, pet supplies, health supplement, food and bev, print on demand, and even books. So we have also partnered with well-established platform and also brands such as Newegg, I heard Printify, and also Verizon to bring the more high quality products to our customers. On the infrastructure side, we have built our own SHEIN fulfillment services and partner with logistic partners just like USPS, Amazon MCF, Go4, and also Uni to offer more competitive and also flexible shipping options. We know that moving catalogs between platform is not easy. So we launched SHEIN Open Platform API and also integrated with over 200 third-party ERP service providers just to make sure the integration is faster and smoother. Most importantly, we are constantly listening to our sellers' feedback, understanding their pain points, and investing heavily just to make the selling experience better, easier, and also more scalable every step of the way.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that, Eric. So let's get into it, guys. Here's what we'll cover today. We'll start with the seller opportunity on SHEIN Marketplace. Then we'll walk through onboarding and launch best practices. From there, we'll talk about operating and optimizing for performance, what successful sellers do differently, and we'll close with a clear next step, whether your brand's new on SHEIN or ready to start selling on the platform. So let's get started. To set the stage, let's talk about why so many sellers are choosing SHEIN Marketplace right now. As brands plan for 2026, they're being more intentional about what they invest, looking for platforms that offer discovery, scale, and access to engage shoppers. So I'll open up the question for Sylas. Sylas, you speak to brands every day. What's driving interest in SHEIN Marketplace right now, and what type of sellers and categories are you seeing the biggest opportunity here?
Yeah, so it's a big question. I see a lot of sellers who succeed the most tend to be those who are selling name brand goods in the following categories. So you're looking at footwear, streetwear, fragrances, beauty and accessories. And if you're a player in those categories, each one has its own playbook, right? But they have a through line, each of them. And that would be three things. I think it's strong assortment, strong pricing, and strong platform discipline. Discipline meaning that you're participating in campaigns, you're regularly checking in on the platform, logging in. You're also responding to Eric's team consistently, checking your emails, taking their advice to heart. They're so helpful, and they're experts at what they do. Nobody knows the platform better than Eric's team, and so they tend to be able to give you a lot of guidance, which is a key differentiator on Shein, is that you actually have someone who's an expert on the platform who's in your pocket, right? Another group of important things is maintaining shipping rates, excellent shipping rates, excellent fulfillment, and making sure that your listings are high quality so that you have a low return rate, high reviews. Those are really important things. So it's really a blue ocean out there. We see a lot of opportunity in the categories I listed, but we're nowhere near having a full assortment in any of them. So yes, we have success in a few brands that we all know and love, but there's a huge group of brands that we don't have enough in, that we don't really have data for. But I have a feeling if we had a seller come on who was the first in that group or that brand or that product line, they're going to see some success right out the gate.
Definitely. And more data is better than no data. Eric, from a platform and seller success perspective, how is SHEIN Marketplace continuing to evolve to support seller growth, especially for the US-based brands?
Very good question, Jojo. I think first of all, we set seller up, for success from day one, and each seller is actually supported by a dedicated onboarding manager who ensures the correct account setup and also actively reviews, analyzes, and also optimizes their listing. So from content and pricing to all the way, compliance, just to ensure their early success. Secondly, we accelerate growth through platform level exposure through different marketing vehicles we built, including campaigns, placement, and promos, just to drive that top of funnel traffic, while pairing that exposure with listing optimization, just to convert that additional traffic into the actual sales for our sellers. Third, we invest heavily in scalable infrastructures with flexible fulfillment options, competitive shipping and label options, and also data-driven performance tools like you mentioned earlier. Seller can actually optimize their costs and also scale efficiently. Finally, we build for long-term success, through governance, compliance, and also brand building capabilities. We try to enable our seller to grow sustainably and also build trusted, durable business onto the Shein platform.
With that being said, Eric,
Mhm.
how is the SHEIN seller opportunity different from other marketplaces, you would say?
Very good question. I think first of all, Shein has a very unique and also strong Gen Z audience group where we build our entire ecosystem, from content discovery to shopping behavior around this generation. And few other marketplace truly understand that, nor do they have that penetration in Gen Z. And this gives our seller a very unique access to a highly engaged, trend-driven customer base that is difficult to reach elsewhere. Number two, I see Shein is not an ad-dependent marketplace, unlike the platform like Amazon or TikTok Shop, where sellers must rely heavily on paid ads, buy box competition, or even influencer marketing, often with significant hidden costs. Shein has no buy box. Seller own their own listings and also compete on product quality, pricing, and also ultimately performance, right? Not on who spends the most on the ads. And this leads to the third point. Traffic on Shein is marginally organic. Seller can focus on what truly drives the long-term success, which is product selection, pricing strategy, listing quality, and also, of course, SEO optimization, right? Rather than, managing the complex ad system or raising their acquisition costs. Those are the two main differences I see compared to other marketplaces.
Yes, and that really highlights how SHEIN Marketplace isn't just about exposure, it's about building sustainable seller growth.
Correct.
Thank you, Eric. So with that being said, guys, getting started, onboarding and seller launch. So once a seller decides to move forward, the next critical step is onboarding. This is where sellers set the foundation for long-term success and where the right approach can significantly accelerate the momentum. So Eric, what does a strong onboarding experience look like? And what are the most common mistakes you see that sellers should avoid early on?
Very good question. I'll start with the first one. So a successful onboarding experience for new sellers generally follow three key steps, right? The first step is the account setup, where seller will be working closely with our seller onboarding manager to complete the seller profile, including payment and also banking information, address management, and also ultimately the KYC verification. And typically, seller were able to complete this within the first week since they're store approvals. The second step I see is the ERP or system integration, which usually takes 1 to several weeks, depending on the option selected. We understand there are sellers who want greater customization and also greater control over their listing creation, inventory syncing, or even pricing synchronization, right? And they may choose the direct API integration. And the sellers who prefer a faster, out of the box, ready to use kind of solution can also select, a third-party ERP service provider that we partner up with. And lastly, listing and catalog migration, which typically takes 1 to 2 weeks after integration is completed. During this phase, the onboarding manager works closely with the seller to move catalogs, from other platform or your own DTC website, and also ensure the listing are optimized and also ready to go live. To get back to your second question on what are some of the most commonly onboarding mistakes I've seen, I see two. First one is since Shein is very fundamentally different from other marketplaces like Amazon, TikTok Shop, or even Temu, right? Instead of competing in buy box or paid ads, Shein's algorithm relies heavily on listing SEO and also sales performance. So the most common onboarding mistake I've seen is sellers just think of Shein as just another platform like Amazon or Walmart marketplace where they can just spend money and win. That's not the case here on Shein. Rather than that, sellers should focus early on strong product titles, attributes, pricing, content qualities, and also operational consistencies, just to build that positive performance momentum from early on.
Definitely. So
The
it's
second
not
mistake,
a one size fits all type of
yeah,
marketplace.
it's not. Since we have very unique access and also audience group of Gen Z, it's a little bit different. Our platform operates a little bit different from other platforms. Yeah. The second mistake is actually I see from seller is underestimating the level of engagement required here onto the Shein platform. Some seller view Shein as an easy additional sales channel, Well, maybe that's true, in the first couple of years. But as our marketplace grew in the last couple of years, today's marketplace is more competitive, and the success requires a hands-on store management and also commitment as well from the seller. By that, I mean seller will have to work closely with your dedicated account manager, actively review performance data, optimize listing, do all those, A/B testing, and also treat Shein as a more of a strategic growth channel rather than a long tail channel.
Hmm.
Definitely, definitely. And Silas, from the seller side, where do brands tend to hesitate or overthink the onboarding process, would you say?
Yeah, I'd love to iterate a little on what Eric is saying to wrap up that question. It's a good question. Um, Shein is very different from Amazon and any other marketplace out there and any platform out there. A lot of brands, the larger you are, the more concerned you are of cannibalization, right? Okay, well, if I list my Amazon inventory and my omni-channel inventory on Shein, then I'm just taking away sales from my other marketplaces. And while I understand that concern, it's not really as relevant because our demographic, as Eric was saying, our core cohort is 85% college age females, which is an extremely elusive, very difficult to get cohort. That means that when you have a bunch of inventory on Amazon, eBay, or Temu, or Walmart.com, that demo has almost no crossover. Most of our demographic chooses not to shop on Amazon, and vice versa. The important thing there is to recognize that Shein is a net new channel and a net new audience for a lot of our sellers. Really, the only platform that maybe has crossover is TikTok, but it's a completely, it's social commerce versus marketplace, right? And we have social commerce aspects as well. So where do they hesitate? Most of the time, it's in that part of being concerned about, am I stealing business from my existing channels? And the answer is usually no.
Got it. So Silas, what advice would you give to sellers to help them get live faster and, with confidence?
It's a great question too. I would recommend being as thorough as possible. I like to crawl, walk, run. So a lot of sellers want to get on Shein and they want to get on as fast as possible. The truth is that, like Eric mentioned, selling on Shein, especially because of how competitive it is now, selling on Shein is hard. It's not super easy. It's hard to do well, I should say. It's not hard to maybe do a few sales, but you want to grow, you want to really be a big player on Shein and have significant revenue, then it's something new. You learn it. It's not like the other platforms out there. So it's something you need to have, you need to pay attention to. So make sure all of your supply chain documents are in order. If you're selling branded goods, we need to make sure that we're verifying authenticity of the quality of your assortment, right? I want to know what level of a seller you are before you become someone on the platform. That means that myself and Eric, we can give you more curated attention. We don't tend to have a blanket process for all of our sellers. We put our sellers into specific buckets of how much attention they should be getting from us. So if you're able to show me or your business development representative that your business is significant, that you have a lot of marketplace expertise, that you have excellent pricing and excellent access to many brands, not just one. Or if you're a brand itself, so you only have access to one brand, but you have a lot of agility and you have a willingness to put in a headcount to really maximize the Shein opportunity, we're going to match your effort. We put in a lot of effort into making sure, if you're putting in 100%, we're going to put in 100% too. But if you're not responding to us, you will slowly kind of be deprioritized over the sellers who are going to put the time in. So I think the biggest recommendation I can give you is only come on to Shein when you're ready to put the time in. And once that happens, we're going to match your effort and we're going to get you there. Be prepared to rewrite your current existing marketplace playbook for Shein specifically.
That's a great way of putting it. And it's a great reminder that success on Shein starts with, clarity, readiness, and taking action. So With that being said, let's move into operating for performance. Once a seller is live, success on Shin Marketplace becomes very operational. It's a performance-driven, discovery-led platform, and sellers who treat it that way tend to see the strongest results. Eric, what tools or operational best practices help sellers who want to improve performance once they are live?
That's a great question. First of all, I don't think there is a single tool that will automatically guarantee success. But there are, key platform tools and also modules that will, and also best practice that consistently will help the seller drive strong performance. First of all, analytics is critical. Sellers should be closely monitor their performance data because it directly reflects how listing and also the overall store are performing. Some of the key metrics such as exposures, user visit, page views, click-through rate, and also even conversion rate. Each point to different actions, whether that's either improving your overall visibility, optimizing images and titles, or even adjusting pricing and product selection. Second, listing completeness and also standardization matter. Always provide as much structured information as possible just for SEO purposes. Some of the best practices includes use preset sales attribute instead of customized inputs to improve overall discoverability. And number two, try to fully complete product attribute, especially those marked as important in our seller hub, as those are directly contributing to the additional traffic. And lastly, like Sylas mentioned, invest in high quality product images. Typically, maybe 4 to 6 high-res images work the best, with the first and also second main image being especially critical for driving click-through rate and also eventually the conversion.
Definitely. High-res images tend to work well on Shein compared to other marketplaces.
Yeah.
Sylas, from what you've seen, what separates sellers who gain traction early from those who struggle on our marketplace?
Yeah, it's a great question, and it's a good segue from what we've been talking about.
Mhm.
And the truth is, I think it's knowing what you're capable of. Some sellers who come onto the platform, there tends to be two big seller profiles in the branded sector, and that's someone who has a massive assortment, up to hundreds and thousands of products, right? So 10,000 unique SKUs, a massive catalog that they import through integration, and that takes a lot of lift and it just takes time, right? So if you're that kind of seller, then let's make sure we are doing it piece by piece. We pick the right assortment first. We curate what's going to get the most traction the fastest on Shein. Let's not do all 10,000 at once. Let's pick your top 100. Or what? Or we take the advice from Eric's team and we go, we think out of your brand list, your product list, these are the top 100 we should start with. And then on the converse side, there's the small but mighty resellers. There are many who are doing significant revenue with 10 to 15 SKUs that they just have a lot of depth in. So on the converse side, there's a massive assortment, smaller depth, higher agility. And then there's a smaller seller that has, 2,000 units of a specific product that has just an industry leading price that they're doing thousands in, weekly, thousands in GMV, a couple hundred units a day, right? And you have 10 of those products, you're crushing it. You're cruising. What else can you do? So really it's the curation of your assortment. Know what kind of seller you are, know what you have your strengths in, and work with the Shein team to understand where should we start. We don't need to open up the floodgates straight out the gate. Goes back to that crawl, walk, run principle where let's start with what works and iterate on that.
Definitely. So it's not just about being present, it's about being intentional, consistent, and data-driven in your strategy with Shein.
Mhm.
So as you can tell, growth doesn't happen overnight, but there are very clear patterns among sellers who succeed on Shein Marketplace. Sylas, can you share an example of a seller who found success on Shein and what made the difference?
Yes, one of my top sellers was a gentleman who had that assortment that I was talking about, small but mighty, right? He did over 100K in his first 90 days, first 60 days actually, with just 11 products. And what made that store really successful is a mix of everything we're talking about. He was participation driven, right? Our platform is merit based, not pay to play. So that means if you are a seller that's participating in campaigns regularly, uploading products on a fairly consistent basis, he was uploading 1 to 2 products a week. If you have really strong listings, so like Eric was mentioning, great images, great SEO, really good uh, keyword enrichment, product enrichment, and things like that. And he also shipped within 12 hours and has multiple warehouses. So that means if you were on the West Coast, you were getting product shipped from the West Coast. If you're on the East Coast, all of those things led to him getting tons of 5-star reviews immediately, which the platform loves. So, as reviews were coming in, as clicks were coming in, everything was happening very quickly for him because from his very first upload, he did it right. If you do that, if you focus on nailing your first, your second, your third, your fourth uploads, what's going to happen is the algorithm is going to pick up on you faster. And even if you only have 10 products, if you also work very closely with your business development rep and with Eric's team on, hey, do you happen to have these 10 products? You say you have 5 of them. You upload those. Even if that means you're not selling maybe what you necessarily wanted to sell initially, it's going to build a store for you where you can sell those lower performing items, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. And Eric, from your perspective, how does SHEIN Marketplace support sellers as they move
Mhm.
from launch into long-term growth?
Very nice one. I think first of all, we have platform-driven campaigns for ready for our seller to participate just to drive that even more upper funnel traffic. On a weekly basis, we have a seller can participate in new arrivals and also flash sales campaigns just to build that early momentum that Sam was talking about. On a monthly basis, we also run brand and also category specific campaigns as well as theme events tied to the major moments such as, Valentine's Day, back to school, Black Friday, and also other seasonal picks just to sustain that growth and also visibilities. Secondly, through better product selection and also pricing guidance, seller will move beyond the incubation stage and also become more familiar with the platform operations. They build deeper partnership with their dedicated account managers. And at that stage, seller can leverage data-driven guidance just on what products to scale, which assortment to expand, and how to price, competitively. And lastly, I think logistics and also cost optimization will be a key part, through Shein fulfillment services and also platform shipping labels. Sellers can actually further optimize their cost structure, improving their delivery performance and also enhance the overall customer experience as they scale.
Definitely, that long-term support is critical as
Yeah.
sellers think beyond just launch and focus on scaling with intention. Well, as we wrap up, I want to leave everyone with a clear takeaway from today's conversation. Success on Shin starts with strong onboarding, continues with ongoing optimization, and accelerates when sellers fully leverage the platform's tools, insights, and support available for them. Eric, if sellers could focus on one key action after today
Mhm.
to set themselves up for success for 2026, what should it be?
It should be listing optimization.
Hmm.
Since our platform is purely organic traffic driven, listing SEO, their product images, quality, especially the first and the second to improve their click-through rate, and the rest to improve the overall conversion. This will be the key to win onto the Shein platform.
Great answer. And Silas, for brands who still are on the fence on what's the best next step to get started and not miss this opportunity on Shein, what would you tell them?
I think there's a lot of things I would like to tell them, but if I would focus on just a few, then it would be that yes, it's hard to sell on Shein, but what separates us is that you will have a team who will teach you how to become an expert on it. We're not going to leave you in the dark. You're not going to onboard and then be in a dark room all by yourself. You're going to have me, you're going to have Eric's team, who are going to give you the tools that you need to succeed. It's that simple. And ultimately, it's early. Our platform hasn't even gotten close to where it can be, right? So as a brand that comes on early, you have an opportunity to really take by the horns a platform that no other brand is prioritizing. So ultimately, whether you're a beauty brand, a footwear brand, a small brand, a big brand, you have a blue ocean in front of you and the most valuable demographic in the world in front of you for the taking. We have the best audience in the world. Make no mistake, Shein is the number 1 fashion website globally. We operate in 150 different countries, and Gen Z is going to spend $12 trillion online by the end of 2030. The opportunity is there. So make no mistake.
Definitely, definitely. Thank you guys. And thank you all again for joining us for the 2026 SHEIN Seller Playbook webinar. Today's discussion highlighted why SHEIN continues to be a powerful growth channel. And if you're a brand looking to expand your reach, we encourage you to join SHEIN today. And if you're already selling on the platform, now is your time to amplify your store, optimize performance, and scale smarter for 2026. You'll see a QR code on your screen. Simply scan it, apply, register, and learn more. It's the fastest way to take the next step while everything we covered today is still top of mind. If you have any additional questions or would like to continue the conversation, please email us at marketing@shein.us. Thank you again for your time. Thank you, Sylas and Eric, for joining us here today. And we look forward to, supporting your success on SHEIN.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everybody.
Jojo. Thank you, everyone.
Awesome.
Bye, guys.